At the end of the day, I'm here to help entrepreneurs design brands that guide them to seven-figure success. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor live stream. We got my man, Awais Q, in the house. What's going on?
What's up, Henry? Glad to be back, man.
Had a great weekend with the wife, celebrated her birthday. Maybe I had one or two extra margaritas yesterday that I shouldn't have, but we're rocking and rolling today. Today we're going to be talking about how to dial in the right message to the right clients so that we can create more of an impact with our brand and start converting more audience members to clients. So very, very important here, Awais, when we are developing our messaging for our client. You know, let me ask you this, and then we'll get into some of the stuff that I've outlined here. What are some of the big common stress points when you're working with your clients with messaging?
Wow. Okay. So, you know, this is a question I typically ask in my initial meeting with them. And sometimes it pushes the wrong buttons. So I ask, why should your customers be buying from you? Now, why should they buy this? I mean, if there's like 5 other competitors in the marketplace, right? Well, why should they come to you?
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Such a simple question. And you know what? Until we really drill down to exactly what it is that makes them different, they'll all say it's our customer service. How many times do you get that one?
Right? So, yeah. Okay. But what does that mean? And what makes a competitor not have great customer service?
Yeah.
That's something that's easily duplicatable.
Yeah. It's so generic that, you know, it seems like the go-to for businesses that aren't necessarily, you know, they haven't gone through this sort of a process, and they aren't differentiated, or they haven't even figured out what their unique is.
Right.
They have one, right? But they haven't really figured that out. You know, they might have gone through this sort of a ramp-up period in the infancy of their business, but then as they mature, as they get into their year 5, year 6, and they start hitting that ceiling, well, that's when they start to realize that, hey, you know what? We need to figure all this out, because now, you know, when you talk about the stress point, well, the stress point for any business is, well, why aren't we growing? You know, that stress point is when it hits the pockets.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I got some cool stuff that I've prepared. Let me just make sure my audio is good, because I have a tendency of doing these live streams with my other microphone that's tucked behind the screen, and I sound like I'm in the pool house. But no, my audio sounded good, thank God. All right, so right after this quick little message, we're going to get into how to dial in the right messaging to attract the right clients. Stay tuned. If you're a business owner who feels your branding isn't truly representing the value that you deliver, check out this free video training that will help you level up your brand's messaging and online presence so that you can start attracting higher quality clients. Visit www.uniquedesignz with a Z at the end, not an S, .net/level up my branding. So I want to encourage the live listeners like Peter Butler here to join in this conversation. If you have questions for us, please drop them in the comments. If you have comments, I'll make sure that they get featured, like the one here from Peter. It says everyone should have great customer service, or else you shouldn't be in business. That's not what differentiates. Exactly. But I will tell you one thing that does differentiate: experience. Experience. No one's going to do it like Awais. No one's going to do it like Henry. They may be similar, but nobody's going to do it like us. And that's why that is like the secret weapon that a lot of people just overlook. is creating a great customer experience. Thinking of and anticipating the need of is huge. Anthony Waite says, "Hey, Henry, great to see you. Great to see you too, Ant. Hope you're doing well." Now, I promised my email list when I promoted this live stream that I was going to share 4 questions to ask yourself before you even put out another Instagram post or another piece of content. And so these questions come from Oasis, our favorite book, Power Questions. Power Questions. I love this freaking book. Okay. Especially if you could get the hard copy or the Kindle, there's a whole bonus chapter that gives you 293 power questions that are just incredible. But here's the 4 that I want to share with you real quick. Okay. And then we can break these down. And then I want to get into the customer's journey so you guys get a better understanding of that, so you guys could put the right messaging in front of the right people at the right time. But the 4 questions that you got to ask yourself, hope you're writing this down, is question number 1. Does the buyer have a significant problem or opportunity that your solution addresses? Does the buyer have a significant problem or opportunity that your solution addresses? Okay. Anthony, look at Anthony. He says, this is the problem I'm finding myself in right now. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to research your buyers a little bit more.
All right. Well, I don't think he was addressing that question because he's probably 15 seconds behind us. But the problem that he's having is getting the right message in front of the right people at the right time. Okay. So that's question number 2. Question number 1. Question number 2 is, does the buyer own the problem yet? Does the buyer own the problem yet? You know what that means? Go. Shoot.
Do they recognize that they actually have a pain or they have that problem? That's the main. That I tell people this, or especially my clients. You're not going to promote a change or even compel a change until your client actually recognizes that there's a problem, and then they actually recognize that problem to push them beyond that change. So they have to be able to really feel the threshold of pain beyond what they can actually tolerate.
Right. So yeah. Anthony says lack of awareness. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They may not even know they have the issue in the first place. That there takes a lot of convincing and that's not what that's what we want to do, but over time, right? But if they can't own their problem, it's like trying to pull a stubborn bull. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
And it's just like what you're doing right now, Henry. I mean, it's through asking the right questions and kind of leading them to recognizing that they do have a problem, that there is that underlying issue that they're not even seeing.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy. It's easy to say, well, I know what my problem is. It's messaging. Well, how do you know that that's your problem? Right? I want to dig deeper here. I'm not going to take that for face value because that may not be the issue. There may be a deeper problem. Right? Question number 3. All right. This one's huge because I think a lot of us overlook this one. This one was like, for me when I read it the first time. Does your buyer have a healthy dissatisfaction with current offerings or with the rate of their improvement? Does the buyer have a healthy dissatisfaction with current offerings that are out there or with the rate of their improvement? Are they not scaling fast enough? Are they not generating leads fast enough? Are they not converting more sales fast enough?
That's right.
Or have they tried 6 or 7 different vendors and they're still unhappy with the results that they've received? Being consciously aware of this is huge.
How do you uncover that one?
Ask. So when I do my brand assessments, always, this is what I ask them. Have you ever gotten any professional brand strategy done before? And they could say, well, yeah, I hired this one guy or this one gal, and we did this and we did that. We went over personas. Well, how and they'll go on. And I said, well, did that make any sort of impact, or did it help you in any way? Well, no, it kind of felt like this, and that. And, this one promised me that, and I got this. And now I can't write fast enough because I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
So that's how you gather that info. Or they're going to come to you and say, here's my pain point, right? I get this a lot. Henry, I know I need a funnel, or I have a couple of funnels already, but they're not pulling their weight. And quite frankly, I don't have the time to do this shit anymore. So I need somebody like you to come in and just bang this out for me. Okay, Now we have a conversation, right? So knowing that is half the battle, right? I sound like G.I. Joe over here, but knowing that is half the battle. Now, last question of the 4. Ready? Does the buyer trust that you're the best person for the job? Does the person trust that you're the best person for the job? Okay, so look at Leon here. He says, how do you uncover a problem that's not seen as a problem?
Yeah.
You want to take a stab at that?
So that was something that we just talked about, right? How do you uncover a problem that's not even seen or acknowledged as a problem? Kind of relates back to recognition of it at first. And then again, asking the right question to kind of direct them there to say, look, what's happening in other areas of your business? And I always like to take it to one thing and one thing only. How are you hurting in the bank?
Well, that's a good point away. So my question is to them: if we don't do anything about this issue, right, of X, what's the risk involved, right? And so the question and how do you uncover the problem is you could see it, right? I'll give you a quick example. If you know what you're doing, right? If you are a subject matter expert in whatever you do, you can see what the clients are not doing or the prospect is not doing. And now you could create content around that. Right. Exactly. For example, this is a horrible example, but I'm going to share with you. My 3.5-year-old son has a horrible habit of running looking backwards. Because when we play chase, he's running away from me, but he's constantly looking behind himself to see where I'm at. And there's numerous occasions where what happens? Boom.
Run into something.
Yes. Well, take that analogy and place it inside your business. Now, I know damn well if he keeps doing that, he's going to bash his head off the corner of the kitchen island. Right? So take a peek at what your clients aren't doing and create content around that. That's right. Going to help your audience see what they don't see. Just like this live stream right here, guys. You may think you have your messaging dialed in, but you're unaware of the 4 questions that we just covered. Now that opens up a whole new can of worms. The other thing I want to start to introduce you to is the 4 phases of your customer's journey and knowing what phase they're in and how to find what phase that they're in, because I know that question is going to come up later, but we'll address it then. But let's talk about the 4 phases of the customer journey. Let's talk about phase number 1, which is the epiphany phase, which we just got finished talking about. This is the phase where we're revealing the real issues of their business. How? Through our marketing, through our content marketing strategy, through our messaging. I'm just looking at, oh, this is a really cool question, Oasis. We got this coming in from Dr. Graffo. So, hello guys. I just want to share with you a strange dream I had a couple years ago. I dreamed with Socrates. Okay, I love Socrates, by the way. And tells me the universal answer is the question. Thank you, Henry, for your knowledge. Very cool. I appreciate you sharing that, Doc. All right. So the epiphany phase is that aha moment that you create in somebody's brain that says, ooh, I may have an issue here that I'm unaware of. And when that happens, this is your time to shine, my friends. This is why video live stream, this is why content marketing, this is why getting out in front of your audience via podcasts, etc., is so important. If you don't have a platform to voice, they're never going to know they had their problem. And Oasis, this is I get on you a lot for this, because yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna.
Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot right now.
I'm gonna put Oasis on the spot real quick. All right, this is what I love about Oasis. Oasis loves perfection. I mean, this guy doesn't touch anything unless it's done right, which I love. Right? Problem with that is he wants it so damn perfect sometimes that he won't even do it at all. And I'm saying specifically here with video content. Okay? With video content. And what I try to share with him all the time when I see him get like paralyzed by overthinking it or trying to make it perfect is another day has gone by that you were unheard. Another day has gone by that you didn't serve. I didn't mean that to rhyme, but that's why it's so important to get out there every day, no matter what platform you're on. Like we've developed quite a established marketing strategy and content marketing strategy over the years. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're doing live streams and podcast recordings. Tuesday, Thursday, I'm over there on Clubhouse doing live coaching and helping people with certain specific issues that they may have when it comes to branding, marketing, funnels, etc. But I'm out there every single day, putting it in. All right, this is a great. You got to give me a second to read all of this, but let's try to break this down, and we'll get back into the phases of the customer journey. So Anthony says, when serving a wide range of clients, elementary to executive level leadership, how do we approach niching down to a specific audience? Should we? I just launched a paid group, and I have an idea to find the common thread amongst the group. Emerging millennial leaders, as they are the one last who are paying. Interesting question.
Yeah.
I think he answered his own question, to be honest with you. Oh, as they are the ones who are paying. He typed. He's a little typo there. Okay, so I'll throw that up there. I'll leave that up there. But I think he answered his own question by saying,
trying to digest this question here.
Yeah. How do we approach niching down?
Yeah. So Anthony, if you're still with us, are you saying that when you say executive level of leadership, are you talking about all of the C-suite members from CEO all the way down?
Elementary to. Oh, okay. So his question is, so he doesn't know if that's too broad or not.
Too broad.
So emerging millennial leaders. Is that too broad?
Yeah, we would have to refine that.
Well,
Emerging millennial. Yeah.
What's making him think that's too broad? Because for me, that's pretty narrow.
Well, again, in what marketplace? First of all, I would try to figure out exactly what marketplace.
Okay.
You know, beyond just emerging millennial leaders. Well, that to me is still fairly broad.
It is.
From my perspective.
Yeah. No.
So,
It is.
Yeah.
But he's got his he's got his demo and psycho graphic pretty dialed in.
Right.
So okay, so he's given us more juice here.
Let's take a look.
So he's military.
There you go.
And facilitate our board of directors on communication and leadership. I also speak to audiences that are vast.
Okay.
I got a chance to speak with Anthony out in Arizona at my speaking. There was a speaking engagement I went to last October, and Anthony was one of the speakers, and got a chance to meet him a little bit. Okay, so the biggest issue is trying to leverage the military officer role in the civilian sector. Okay.
So it's now we're refining it more. You see?
Yeah,
so that's good.
Yeah. You know, that is, it could take us an hour to really
figure this out. Just to process this one. Yeah, exactly.
But Anthony, shoot me a private message, and I'm going to ask you some more questions about this to kind of get this refined a little bit more for you. But at the same time, I got to make sure that the flow of this video stays going a little bit. So shoot me a PM. I'm happy to help you with this, but this is good. So to the point that we're trying to make here, the point that we're trying to make here in this video is when you're out there in front of your audience and you're asking thought-provoking questions, this is what's helping uncover those real issues.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the next phase of the customer journey is the awareness phase. This is where your prospect starts to experience the symptoms of the problems that you're addressing that's connected to your offers. Okay. So in this phase, the awareness phase, they're educating themselves. They're seeking to understand those problems on a deeper level. Anthony says, Henry, I should just send you a check. I'll give you my address.
There you go.
Okay. So the awareness phase is where the prospect is now starting to feel those issues, see those issues. And now they're like, okay, how important is this problem? And how can I understand it on a deeper level? So now in this phase, you have to think, what content can I be putting out to help educate these folks? Okay. So in the epiphany phase 1, you're going to be putting out X kind of content. Like this one here. Like this video right here is a perfect example of an epiphany phase piece of content. Okay. We're highlighting an issue that maybe people don't see and the importance of it. Awareness phase is now we have to go in deeper
and create that.
Yeah, and create that education, right? So on our next live stream, which is going to be going down on Wednesday at 2:30 Eastern, we're going to break down and tear down a sales funnel so we can show you guys how to optimize it for conversion. This is where the education piece comes in, right? So this is where we're going to show where you're now going to be aware of maybe certain leaks in your funnel that you need to plug. Okay.
The show and tell, so to speak, and the how-tos.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's awareness phase. Now, the third phase of the customer journey is the consideration phase. Now they've owned the problem. Remember, going back up to question number 2. Now they know they have an issue. Now, how are they going to get rid of it? This is the consideration phase. This is where now you guys have to go heavy on showing the before and afters or the results of how you've helped XYZ client get the results that this person is looking for. All right. And then the last phase is the decision phase. The decision phase is now they're committed to hiring somebody to make this problem go away.
Sure.
So, wait, let me quiz you here. For the decision phase of the customer journey, what would you consider a good piece of content that would help them?
I'm going to say, and I say this all the time, the outcome.
Okay.
The outcome every single time. So it could be a good case study, a testimonial. Mm-hmm. And I think you and I were having a discussion about this the other day, and you said, hey, you know what? A good way to get a testimonial from someone is ask them a question about what would they say to someone that's on the fence of why they would either use or not use you as a possible vendor.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing that I would say is when it comes to the decision phase, what you should really be paying attention to in this phase is consistency.
Yeah.
If you can be top of mind, right, and keep hitting them and driving your point home, you're going to be the top of, you're going to be the obvious choice. Like our friend Dom Fawcett always says, you want to become the obvious choice, right? So it's consistency on all fronts, consistency of message, consistency of frequency, right? So the first person that comes to mind when it comes to funnels or branding, it's Henry, it's Oasis, it's like, so what are you doing in that phase to get them over the hump? Okay. So I have a set of questions here that I'm going to rattle off. Okay. That's going to also help impact your marketing message. Again, these are questions that you got to ask yourself. And these are some of the questions I pulled from my Brand Accelerator program. So in the strategy phase of the Brand Accelerator program, I ask a lot more questions than these, but this is a start. Okay. So question number 1, what does your ideal client dream of becoming? Just let that one sit. What do they dream of becoming? The next question is, what are their hopes and fears? The next question is, what consistently gets in their way? How are they getting in their own way is the next question. Russell Brunson did a podcast recently. I was listening to him on my walk this morning, and he was talking about the level of coachability somebody is and how important that is in business. And he was saying how he doesn't understand how somebody would pay somebody thousands of dollars to be coached, but then fight the advice given by that coach. Yeah. And he talked about how in wrestling, when he used to wrestle as a kid, his dad got him into this elite group of wrestlers, and the coach saw him doing a move incorrectly. And the coach was like, Russell, just do it like this next time. And he said, all right. And he got back out on there on the mat, and he just did it the way the coach told him to do it. And it was like, boom, nailed it. And then when he got done, the coach was like, you want to know something incredible, Russell? He's like, what? He says, you know how many people I've coached, kids I've coached told them what to do and they just don't do it, and I have to tell them 1,000 times to do it. I told you once and you just did it. He was coachable.
Yeah.
You know, and to that point, on the flip side, my coaches actually are they got to watch what they tell me, because the words aren't even out of their mouth yet, and I'm already implementing it. That is one thing, right, that I could say I'm good at, is being coachable, right? So let's get out of your own way,
Right.
when it comes to being coached. You know, if they tell you to do something, do it. Do it.
You're paying them tons of money.
Yeah, you might as well do it.
You might as well do it. Yeah.
Right. And then lastly, what's keeping them from achieving their goals? And we talked about external influences and internal influences. Do you know the difference?
Yeah.
Explain.
So internal would be that same one, which is, you know, again, what are your fears, or what are your mental impediments that are keeping you from making certain decisions?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, extrinsic ones, it could be financial. It could be that they don't even have a process in place.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's one of the things that I was going to mention earlier. Approach and process are two components as well that you can use and that you can leverage. If you have those in place, you can leverage that as part of your differentiator, as a way to uniquely position yourself in the marketplace.
Right. You know, I was thinking, when I was thinking external factors, it was like, I know what I need to do, I just don't know how to get it done. That's one. Like ClickFunnels, I know I need a ClickFunnel, but I know I shouldn't be doing ClickFunnels. That's external, right? So you just got to get somebody to do it, right? Internal is, I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Why should anybody Why should anybody pay me my rate?
That's right.
Well, that's something that we need to flush out internally before we go out there and try to sell a high ticket product or service, right? Now, most of my clients are over that internal stuff, and they're just looking to get somebody to just move the needle for them and get this shit done. So, but understanding their internal and external motivations are huge.
Absolutely.
Or distractions, either or, right? So when you get the answers to these questions, this is going to help you dial in your messaging to the right clients at the right time. So imagine what your impact will be when you start putting out messages that address these questions. What is that going to look like?
Greater awareness, first of all.
Right.
And then just continue to move them down. Now, again, the main thing there is what you touched on earlier, is top of mind awareness, right? So you got to stay top of mind and consistent in each one of the phases of those customer journey. So I would say, you know, just generating awareness, particularly when it comes to some of those topics that you addressed through those questions, because those are high pain topics.
Mm-hmm. Here's a great question. Okay. Here's a great question from Dr. Graffo. To dial the right message in, what's better? A sad message for sad people, or an uplifting message for sad people? Or how to lift up yourself message for sad people? I get what he's saying. Okay. I will share this with you. There's got to be a mix of all. There's got to be a mix of all. However, the one thing that I've known over the years is people will move away from pain faster than moving towards pleasure. It's just the way the world works. It's just the human behavior, right? So your thoughts on that?
So a couple of things on that, right? Particularly when he's talking about sad people with the with a happy message. So yeah, you definitely want to show them what life will look like once you've created some sort of a solution with them, right?
Mhm.
Um, but then you also want to empathize. So I guess it's like building a story, just like anything else, right? And I think that that's an entirely separate topic that we can discuss.
Sure.
But how do you build that message? I think the way that I would say is like an emotional roller coaster. First, actually acknowledging their pain, actually acknowledging that they're sad and empathizing with that, and then taking them through how that's how they will be uplifted and what
Right.
does life look like once they're uplifted.
Right. That there is a recipe for a great webinar.
Yeah.
When you can inspire through a little bit of teaching, a little bit of
Right.
experience, a little bit of behind the scenes, a little bit of example, case study. That moves the needle, guys. That moves the needle. But yeah, you have to inspire them to get to that next level.
Mhm.
But you also have to showcase what it's going to be like when they don't take action. So there's got to be a little bit of a mix there. Otherwise, you're going to be the bearer of bad news all the time, which is going to just be depressing, and nobody's going to watch you or pay attention to you anymore. Or if you're selling hope all day, hope all goddamn day long, then you're not realistic, right?
If you want to compel action, you got to make it inspirational. You got to make your message inspirational one way or the other in order to compel action.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's showcasing what could happen if you don't take the necessary action. Right. So I think it's a mix of, I wish I could give Doc a better answer, but I think that's the best answer. It's got to be a mix of all of that,
Yeah.
and it's got to be, and it's got to be consistent. So this was a really awesome conversation, dude. I loved what came out of this conversation. And it looks like Anthony got some great insights out of it, and Dr. Graffo, and who else do we have here? Peter Butler popped in the beginning.
Nice.
Leon Ruiz is in the house. We got his question answered. How do you uncover the problem? But the one question before we wrap up, the one question I'm probably going to hear is, well, how do you know what phase your prospect is in through their customer journey? How do you figure out if they're in the epiphany phase, the awareness phase, the consideration phase, the decision phase? Easy. Just listen to the questions that they're asking.
Yeah.
You should have saw your face.
Epiphany.
You just had an epiphany.
Yeah.
Just listen just listen to the questions that they're asking.
Yeah.
And that will determine what phase they're in. Then you just give them the answer or counter with another question to get them to that next phase, right?
Exactly.
So it's not that hard, guys. But if you have the right process, you have the right strategy, it makes life a hell of a lot easier, and business a hell of a lot easier.
So there's a quote that I pulled up over here, Henry. So I'm going to share this real quick.
Sure.
Because it really resonates with this topic. So we're asking a lot of these questions to identify common pain points or common problems that to build the right message for that right client. So a problem well stated is a problem half solved. A problem well stated is a problem half solved. So that's a good takeaway from here.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And guys, before we wrap up, I just want to suggest, if you're having some issues with articulating your value to your customer, shoot me, or I would tell you to do this. Just go to this website on the screen here, uniquedesignz.net, and book a brand assessment. And you and I will sit down and really uncover what's really going on and we'll get you the results that you're looking for. We'll get you some insight, some clarity, some focus around what's going on a much deeper level. So just go to that website right there and click at the header, book a brand assessment, and let's get to work. Let's get you unstuck. All right.
And you just launched your new website, right?
Yes. I'm so excited. We got some really great positive feedback from it. So
nice.
Yeah, that's another reason to go check out that website.
If anything, just drop them a comment.
Oh man. Well, listen, Awais, thanks for popping out. We're going to come back in another day or so and talk about how to optimize your sales funnels and get you more conversion. So that'll be going down on Wednesday at 2:30 Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So come join us again. Happy to help. And I hope you got some value out of this. And if you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button and drop some comments or questions down below. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So have an amazing day, guys. And I'll catch you on the next one real soon.